I love my life, I love my wife, for bad times to prevail and overwhelm me. I'm living in hell, but living wealthy. And know these hoes love me because I'm a star. I can't even cop a drink at the bar. Give me some bottles of that Remy Martin. Let's get the party cracking right here. VIP, know where my baby loves me. Home with tears in her eyes, so when I get it.
Anyway, welcome to the Venetra K Show. I'd like to say hello to everybody. We've got a lot of cameras going on. Hello to Donovan's audience. He's also live.
Absolutely.
To YouTube. To those on the podcast, all two of you.
Hi, Tay.
And as always, to my live feed audience, I so appreciate everybody. I am here with Donovan throwing rocks and hiding his hands to Deke. He's always causing mischief and mayhem wherever he goes. And so as long as he's here with us today, you know where he's at and he's not causing anybody.
Right. I'm not in a function or any kind of edit.
Exactly.
And also, if you hear a lot of noise and a lot of airplanes, I live right by March Air Reserve Base. So that means the planes are we're right near the pattern. So they're flying at 200, 300 feet.
And why? Why are they doing that today?
We're having an air show.
It's an air show today, you guys, right? And Donovan lives right by the Air Force Base. So if y'all hear these big old airplanes and all that, it's an air show. So, just bear with us. I'll try to talk louder than them. Hey, Sydney, what's happening? And so, as always, it is the purpose of this show to promote love, knowledge, and understanding of the things that go on in our community to make us better. Now, without further ado, let's talk, y'all. So today's topic is Black people. We are responsible for each other. Now, I've been having a lot of conversations lately with different people in regards to Black people. Now, one of the conversations I had was with someone the other day, and he basically said, Black people, or he was saying, I don't understand why people stay in the hood. They should leave. And Donovan, I'm not talking about you. They were saying that they don't understand why people don't move out of the hood. Why don't they go somewhere where there's not a lot of, violence and things are poor mentally, physically, and, financially? Why not just go move to a better place? Hey, Quentin, what's happening? Why not move somewhere different and better? And so then I thought, well, if everybody moves out of the hood, who is going to stay and improve the hood? Do we just abandon? Do we just jump ship? I mean, what do we do? At some point in time, we have to say, all right, it sucks here for whatever reasons. There's a lot of reasons, and, we can get into that as well.
But then some of us that do leave, we go and take the bullshit with us to another neighborhood and destroy that neighborhood. So what about
Sounds
that?
like you're taking that personally.
No, I'm not, because I stayed in my neighborhood.
Yeah, you did.
So.
And so if we're all leaving the neighborhood or the hood or the urban areas, however you want to call it, who's going to stay there to make sure that it gets better? Now, I want to read some of my notes because I took the time to write them, right? Okay, so somewhere down the slavery line, because a lot of times we say somewhere down the line, but we know this, ideology comes from slavery. We have been taught that we are not responsible for each other unless we were going to tell on somebody, hey, massa, such and such just got a, piece of chicken.
George Price is watching. Former Councilman Price is watching.
Hello, everybody. And so as soon as we could leave the plantation and ultimately our neighborhoods after segregation, we embrace individuality instead of embracing a collective. All right. Now, many of us have adopted the elitist attitude when it comes to each other. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that we look down on some of our own because we believe that they are less than us. Now, I'm saying we because I'm speaking of us as a whole. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying necessarily me. Okay. And then so we say things like, those Black folks. Well, I don't want to be around those Black people. And we say that as if we're not Black ourselves. Now, we would rather spend time talking about each other instead of helping each other and to take a step further, being responsible for each other. We're like, you know what? It's not my issue. It's not my child. I'm good over here. And, so I don't care. Right? Mm-hmm. And then so whether we like it or not, we are responsible for each other. And so we ask the question, I asked the question, how? Now, I'm going to go step by step, and you guys please feel free to chime in, ask questions, whatever you want to do. We are here to dialogue. And so the first thing I said, as I was, said earlier that I was having a conversation with a friend about moving out of the neighborhood. Well, were people trying to move out of Rosewood, Florida? Were they trying to move out of Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street? We also have a black town. I don't know how thriving it is now in California, called Allensworth. Back then, were people trying to move away from there?
Well, we have a one called San Bernardino now,
really?
making a comeback. It's making a comeback.
You wildin'.
San Bernardino.
San Bernardino. And, to me, I mean, obviously we know the answer is no. But we were not trying to move away from each other and trying to separate each other because we were all we had. We had no choice. We had no choice but to get along and to, practice group/black economics. We had no choice. Plus, we were segregated. I mean, where else we were going to go? We had to work amongst ourselves. And so in those towns, things were thriving. Had schools, businesses, hospitals. We had everything. We had no need to depend on anybody else for anything. And I would imagine, they would have some issues with crime, but they didn't have the issues that some neighborhoods are having now. I'd imagine as well, they policed each other. I don't know if they had a police force per se, but let's say the men, they were responsible in making sure that the neighborhood was safe, and things worked the way they were supposed to. But we know once the false idea of civil rights happened, we were integrated and we were told you are now free to move about the country. And so we had all of these things. I mean, we could go on forever building a list of why the neighborhood ended up the way it did. And so, Donovan, do you have anything to add to that? While everybody's getting their comments together. I see a few on here.
Again, I'd have to agree when it comes to a situation to where, we had jobs, slavery ends, they throw us out there. It's just basic survival of the fittest. And we are survivors. I mean, they can cut our food stamps down to little or nothing, and we're still going to make it work. It's just our natural instinct to survive.
But how did we move? I mean, and I know, there's a lot of systemic and institutional racism, but how did we as a people go from knowing that we didn't have those things to, here we are now dependent upon those things? I mean, we've seen a lot of the videos to where, just to use your example, God forbid, food stamps, car get cut off or something, people are losing their minds, and it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Well, okay, let me try to get this where people can relate to it. It's like a animal. You got a wild animal. Once you domesticate it, it loses its natural survival.
You ain't likening black people to wild animals.
No, not at all. But I'm just saying that's just people in general. And again, our system of once they got us, the welfare and put us in that system, and we wanted to be Democrats and all that other crap.
Right.
It just dumbed us down to where we can't survive for ourselves. They took our instincts of survival away because now we're dependent.
So would you say, and I'm going to get to you guys' questions in just a second.
Hey, Shantae.
Would you say that's why we, that's partially why we stopped being responsible for each other?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly, when we let the government come into our homes and tell us what to do, how to raise our children, they pick our leaders. Right now, the Democratic Party hasn't told you who you're going to be voting for. This is the system we get.
Right. And let's see. Let me get to some of these comments. And Sydney says, "What's up?" He says, "Glad to see you are not in Gitmo, Donovan." I don't know why he would be there. Is there something I need to know?
I almost choked.
Am I rolling with somebody I need to know?
No,
about Sydney?
but guess what, Sydney? I will be going back to not back. I'll be going to. I did go to Vietnam.
He's going to Vietnam to see if he has some
I did go there for the MIA reparations back in 1996. I flew through, but I couldn't get off the airplane, whatever. And we just dropped the people off. But I will be going back in May for my birthday. So to see if I got any siblings and cousins and things like that. So
And Quentin says, hello, Dee. What's happening, Quentin? Haven't seen you in a while, or have I?
Yeah, he's trying to make me chill.
And then Sydney says, wow, we need to move back to the hood. Okay, so I want to ask you, Sydney, why do you say we need to move back to the hood? I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. And Al says, looking good as always. Well, thank you, baby.
Okay, Al, get that joke of the day ready. Get that joke of the day.
And Ustinov. I hope I didn't jack that up. Your last name is Jackson as well. You say, we need to buy our community and build and support our own community. Absolutely. And Billy, you say hello. And then you also, Ustinov says, they destroyed the civil rights movement with the women's movement and destroyed the black family. Well, and I always say this too, that while the civil rights era or movement or whatever you want to call it gave us some rights, it didn't really take us where we needed to go. I mean, it told us you can now move away from your people and go be with people who don't want you necessarily to be around them. You are able to now go eat and drink with them and do all this other stuff. You can go move into the neighborhoods, and that's truly where the black neighborhood started to dilapidate when we started to say, okay, you know what, I'm going over to that neighborhood. And then we also know the term that you often use, white flight, took place. Because they're like, okay, y'all moving over here, but we moving away from you.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then now they moved away from us, and then we followed them out to the suburbs, and guess where the white folks going now?
Right. Back
into the hood.
They're like, well, since y'all don't want to be there no more,
right.
That's the term we call gentrification.
Exactly.
That's another thing, we can discuss. And Demetrius, your name is so much closer to mine.
Yes.
Such great names.
Devontae.
No. No. And he said, remember, speaking to each other was love. What's up? What it is?
Yeah.
What's it gonna be? Yeah.
Bring it back, brother. There it is.
Yeah, but now it's like,
What you looking at, nigga? Get out my pocket. Get out my pocket, nigga.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
I'm actually getting some Courvoisier. No, that's right.
I need to see what's in his cup, y'all. He's wilding already.
Hey, Tammy.
And Tony, you say, Professor K. You know what? Thank you. I'll receive that. And Demetrius, you also say, illusion of inclusion better than, well, exactly. And that's exactly what civil rights was. The illusion of inclusion, which that was all by design. Listen, they finna turn up in a minute. They're practicing group economics. They really don't need us. They got their own communities. And the true sense of a community, because Dr. Claude Anderson says that black people, we truly don't have communies. We just live in neighborhoods. A community is conducive.
Right. People know each other.
Right. They know each other. They're spending money with each other. We
helping
love
each other. Yeah.
All of that. So we don't truly have communities. And so he also says that's another reason why a lot of black businesses fail, because black businesses are on this side of town, that side of town, over here. But in other communities, like an Asian community, a Hispanic community, they have all
the whole block
concentrated in one area. So if you want to go to a beauty salon, Lupita has one. And then, okay, you know what? I need to go to the store and get me some taco stuff. I'm going to go up the street. Then you know what? I got to go, dang. And, Demetri K's barbecue joint is 10 miles away from the house. Okay, let's go over there. Everything. So we don't really have a community per se.
Right. I want to bring up, too, has anybody noticed some of the listeners out there and people watching, the media's been talking about the MLK thing.
Oh yeah, the 50 years.
Yeah, and the 50 years, and you saw all the handkerchief heads come out. Jesse, Reverend Al Sharp, all the traitors come out. And they even say Jesse might have had a part.
Oh yeah.
In MLK's death.
A lot of conspiracy about that.
So, but and then here's this guy who's been Jesse's just been dogged out. A daughter out of wedlock. His kids have gone to jail.
He went missing.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And now, they pull him out of the closet. Oh yeah, MLK, and they're doing all this other stuff.
Right.
But what they don't report is, like you said at the end days, and I researched this when you said that, because I kind of heard about that, where he was like, I led my people into a trap, where he was becoming more radical and saying this ain't working.
Off script.
Right. He was like, this is not working.
Absolutely. So. And Ali says, I'm taking the girls home, but not back to the hood. Well, lucky.
There you go.
And Sydney says, we become successful. We leave to be around them. The neighborhoods go down. We follow them, and white folks leave. Exactly. That's what we were just talking about. migrate to their neighborhoods, and then they
go to the
take
suburbs.
Off. They're like, yeah, it's nice knowing you. You know, there's that whole we like the separate but equal thing. You know,
so do I.
Yeah. And then, right, and Cindy said, you need to relax, okay? You was taking some swigs or whatever's in that bottle. But Houston says, you are telling the truth. Yes, and Cindy, as to your point, we need to buy the block. It's like, I get it. I'm not saying that, it's a good thing or, fabulous to live where there's violence. I'm not saying that. I don't think that I know I wouldn't want to live where violence is prevalent. But at some point in time, we got to start solving that because, okay, we move. Thank you. Donovan sees that I start sweating and it's like it's a wrap.
And that's because she's sitting next to me. That's all that is. But go ahead.
Yeah, so, we start moving. Then to Donovan's earlier point, you start taking that with you wherever you move. So at some point in time, we got to start fixing it and start saying, okay, we need to take it back to where grandma and auntie and, the kids can be outside playing and walking down the street without fear of being harmed. We need to take it back to that. And so, just my personal answer, I don't think we need to start moving out of the neighborhoods. In fact, my daughter and I are talking about buying some property, and I said, you know what? We need to go to the neighborhood, per se, and buy something there, whether it's a rental property or a business or something. Let's not get into the ideology of, we're not going to move over there. We got to start embracing our people.
Any property is good property.
Right.
If you can own any land. Hey, Kai and my other little cousin that I want to go on the show.
Donovan is also live, too.
Yeah, so I got a lot of family members. Hello, everybody. But I want to get my one younger cousin, Kai. She is the truth. Come on the show. She is the truth. I've been trying to get her. Our schedules aren't jiving, but when we get her on the show, she's going to be real.
Come on with it. And then Cindy also say $3,500 for an apartment in Brooklyn. Is this how many, like 10 bedrooms? How many how many bedrooms are in this apartment for $3,500?
That's a 1-bedroom in East Brunswick apartment complex.
And we talking
you in
Brooklyn.
Beirut.
Brooklyn. I remember one time when I was in New York. I was coming from Manhattan. I was staying with a friend in Manhattan, and we wanted to go to Harlem, so we had to pass through the 5 boroughs, I think it was. And so
which is a segregated area.
Yeah, but in the on the subway, the message in Manhattan was nice and friendly and stuff.
Hey, Shelinda.
And as you're getting ready to go to the 5 boroughs,
we can take your questions.
You guys now make sure you watch your wallets and your purses and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, damn, you ain't even going to ease us into it. You letting us know
right ahead.
That you're possibly going in. I don't know who that was for. Yeah, I guess they figured if you're going from Manhattan, you must, maybe be white or something. Right. So, protect your neck when you're going out there. Hey,
I got a question. Okay. Well, I got a statement from council candidate Shelinda Jones, and she's saying that gentrification is real.
It's absolutely real. But we keep, and thank you for that, we keep falling for the banana and the tailpipe. I'm going to move away from the hood. It's all this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, well, eventually y'all keep moving out. They don't come in and,
and jack the prices
up the prices, and you put a Whole Foods in there, some Starbucks and all this other stuff. M&M Soul Food is going to be a thing of the past,
right.
And all of that.
A true story. If you come to LA right now and you go to Compton, even the Compton from the NWA days, you will be surprised at how many white people are walking around in the Compton, Torrance, Carson area.
Where a house in Compton was going for like $1
$1
million.
million. Yeah, matter of fact, my cousin Kai, she actually lives in the original Compton area where the white folks live.
$1 million house in Compton?
Yeah.
And I saw the house too.
It's a small little cookie cutter house, like on Friday.
Anything spectacular
at all. It's like those ones on Friday.
I was like, surely this is a mistake.
Nope.
And so, Al, you said there was an episode of Good Times where JJ was going to take his girlfriend to a debutante ball, and her parents decided, her parents decided from going with him, decided her from going with him because he was from the ghetto.
From the hood, yeah.
But James let
them know, this is how I'm going to get my son out.
Oops. It wants me to...
show them the paintings.
I'm trying to see more, but it wanted me to block out.
What you think I want? What you think you want from my son, man? I remember that episode.
And it says... But James let the man know, don't you come from, don't you come from, don't forget where you come from.
Yeah, he came from the hood.
don't forget about the people that were left behind. Yeah, I saw that episode as well.
I don't want to think nothing about the ghetto no more.
But, you know, there's a lot of people who think like that.
Yeah.
I don't want, and we're going to get into that in my other points, you know, I don't want to talk to people from over there and, those people.
Sure.
And then one of these days, you guys, because I'm doing a lot of research now, we're going to talk about the boule. Some of you guys are familiar with the boule. We are going to
The bootleg? You damn right. I'm familiar with the bootleg.
Boule.
The boule. Oh,
We're
sorry.
going to talk about that.
Okay.
Because it kind of ties into it, but it's a little too deep for today.
Right.
And,
Real quick for those
go ahead.
that are watching, what you're seeing right now, we are encapsulated in a green screen. So if you've been watching a lot of our videos, the green screen is what they use in Hollywood when we do the special effects and we put things behind us. So the key to the green screen is having plenty of light. You can do it on a blue screen, you can do it on a red screen, you can do it on a black screen. You just got to have the right software.
yeah, we're not on Mars.
Yeah, so if you're kind of wondering what are we doing in this box, that's what it is.
Right.
So.
And then let's see. Oops, did I miss a comment? And then Sydney, you say, I was shocked last week. White folks walking outside Marcy Projects. Oh, Lord. Now they about to take over the Carter, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a gold mine. If you can get that. Just think about it. Dirt cheap, and then put high prices on it.
But, again, we want to move away from that. You know, instead of being responsible for each other and saying, okay, enough running, enough trying to get away from each other. We need to start figuring out how to make it work because we're already separated enough.
Well, think about this, Dee. Okay, we are in my family home right now. If my mother purchased this home in the 1980s, it's an older home, whatever the deal is. But because this house is purchased and paid for, or whatever our situation is, it enables me and my family to do other things.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we stayed put.
Right.
But, the neighborhood has changed.
But let me ask you this, though.
Okay.
If it was, a neighborhood like one in Chicago or some in Louisiana, would you guys have stayed?
Yes, with our mentality, yeah.
You would have stayed?
Yeah,
Okay.
guess what it is everybody got caught up with trying to stay with the Joneses.
No, I'm talking about if all the violence and, the drugs and all that, would you have stayed?
Yes, because, I got a lot of guns, too, so I will handle that. No.
Shoot them up?
No. I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad...
Okay, corral.
Yeah, I don't mean that in a bad sense, but,
Right,
but when you don't have men standing up in the neighborhood like it used to be in the old days... defending that you couldn't in my dad's day they didn't have guns, they fought with their hands, but you just couldn't walk up in the neighborhood and you're not from there and somebody not challenge you. Right, exactly. So for me, as you see on my cul-de-sac here, I'm the block captain.
Right.
I'm not gonna let you just come up in here and do what you want to do.
I've seen you in action.
You see me in action. Okay. There it is.
Hey, Craig. You say we need to stop spreading out and concentrate on one area at a time, and we need to stop the jealousy, that getting over on each other attitude, and unite. No, absolutely. And I wish I would have read your point before I said that. We need to stop spreading out and saying, I'm getting away from you, I'm getting away from you. Oh, those black people over there. Oh, I can't stand black people. It's like, well, what are you?
Right.
I mean, sometimes we say that as if, like I said earlier, we're not black. I mean, I've even heard people say, once I've taken my child out of the ghetto school, they started to speak better. And I'm like, well, I don't know how much that had to do with the school, but you as the parent should be more influential over your child in any school system. Right. So if your children weren't speaking proper English, whatever that is, that's your fault.
Right, exactly.
As I say, yo, and not yours.
Yeah, and the sad thing is when you approach these parents and say how much time do they read to their children, they can't even answer your question.
Right, exactly, or even speak to them. And Sydney, you say just chilling in Bed-Stuy. Really? Sydney, I don't think you really love that too much.
Yeah. I mean, at one time in this neighborhood, there was a bunch of, it's a military community. There was a bunch of black people, but they were getting older and they're moving on and stuff like that.
Right.
I've actually witnessed this whole neighborhood turn Hispanic.
I've seen a lot of neighborhoods do that. Yeah. And then you also say gentrification, get your black ass out. Right. I mean, especially if you're jacking up the apartments to $3,500. And to your point, collectively, we've got a lot of money, but as we know,
we're spending it on the wrong things.
Yeah, we don't keep the money. We don't pool the money with each other to where we can afford an apartment for $3,500. That shouldn't. I mean, $1.3 trillion that come into the black community every year, and we're having a hard time, affording a $3,500 apartment. It shouldn't be that way. And they used to know if you say we need to start building safer neighborhoods, gated communities, on an investment company called, you said, I own an investment company called Black Wall Street, and we buy property in the hood and buildings every year. That's exactly right.
Right. No, I agree with him. Now, where is he from particularly? Is that New York?
Where are you from? Where exactly are you from?
Because I can tell you, we do the same thing here. Mm-hmm. And we call it the Carter over here when you enclose these black people in a neighborhood because it's just...
Well, that's not owned by us, though.
Right, okay.
You know, that's just
that's owned by Habib and those guys.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just... If we can have them all concentrated over that area, we know where they are. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So where are you from, Houston? And Cynthia, what's happening? It says no shooting in neighborhoods since mothers set up, and it's a website that I have to check out somewhere in Inglewood. So I'm assuming that's some sort of a program or something. That's awesome. Hey, Secret Guard, you say stay the course, brother. I think you saw what, I don't know what that means.
That's right.
Something we were talking about, and then we over-talked it. So Sydney says, actually, they're putting flats outside of the projects. They are building the flats while we are still in the projects. Mm-hmm. But what I hear when you say that is they're starting to run circles around us while we're motionless, doing the same things. You know, on payday, we get our check.
Go get our drink.
Go spend all but 3% of our money with somebody else. And that somebody else are the people. I'm sorry, I'm freezing up a little bit. Mm-hmm. That somebody else are the people who are building around us, who are eventually going to come into the neighborhood and says, "Oh, well, you weren't using that. Right. Well, we'll take that." And I think we need a Whole Foods in there. You know,
right? Mr. Moreno Valley, Daryl Terrell says, "Here's something to think about. Some older generations say that young generations should wait their time."
Wait their time to do what? That's what I want to know.
To take over the land or the money. And that's what we talked about. You got, Al Sharpton, all these handkerchief heads that they just won't leave.
Well, I think anybody with, and thank you for that, Daryl, anybody with any common sense will know that you can't keep applying old ways. Not saying that the old ways weren't effective back then, but you can't keep applying old ways to new ways of doing things. That's like saying, well, you know what? In my day, we used the phone book, and we're going to keep using this phone book. Why, Grandma? Right. We got Google.
Right. Or or a better example right now, my mom is in a federal job, and she's been grandfathered. My mom only has a high school diploma.
Right.
And she's getting her degree. Don't get me wrong. She's getting her degree right now. But for that job now, you need a bachelor's degree.
Right.
See, so it's like
and that's true for a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's like they grandfather themselves in. It's like, well, I didn't need it, but you do.
And I ain't going nowhere. Wait your turn. And then Al says, "Our love for you, baby, is overflown more than a trash can." You said, "My love for you, baby, is overflown more than the trash can in the ghetto." You know what? We're not going to have no ghetto jokes, okay? But thank you. And Sydney says, "It's not worth $3,500. I bet. I mean, what could be...
No, but what can you do? You need a place to live.
I mean, most people mortgages aren't $3,500 on average. Mm-mm. Golly, and that's a pretty good sized house.
But slaves need a place to live. And so what can you do?
The issue is when they raise the rent to $3,500, they know that on average, because we don't amass wealth as black people, on average, most black people can't afford to live there. So who can afford to live there?
You got to go.
You're right. You got to go. And then we start with, whitening up the neighborhood.
Right. For those that are listening that aren't...
He's from Detroit.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I got to buy some property up there, boy. There's fire sales up there.
Yeah, exactly.
But for those that aren't from California, okay, everybody talks about the Bush tax cuts or the Trump tax cuts. Mm-hmm. Okay, you give a little $15 extra in your paycheck. we just got our average gas right now is $3.56.
And you guys, I forgot to show you guys Donovan.
Don't get scared. Don't get scared. I know I'm not the best looking guy, but our gas out here, the cheapest gas you can get is $3.56.
I know.
Now, how is that?
I found a cheaper place.
Oh, did you? But you got to drive to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's okay.
So these little raises that they do, conducive to your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I mean, how can you afford to live there if they just keep putting it on you and putting it on you and putting it on you?
That's the point.
Exactly.
Get out.
Get out.
And let's see.
Oh, my aunt's watching it.
What's happening, El Malik? You said that's how it is in Minnesota. Yeah, y'all get out of here now. Mm-hmm. We're gonna take it over.
Right. Good luck. Right now in California here, you've got apartments that have 2 and 3 generations of cousins and Ray, Pookie, Neckbone, Tyrone, and whoever else living in there, and the cops are there busting heads every week.
Right.
Every week.
I mean, it's just we have to. Again, we are responsible for each other, whether we like it or not. And then Sydney says, exactly, that's what I was saying, the running circles on us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're just, hey, you know, day in, day out, we're going to continue, you know, doing the same thing. He keeps repeating $3,500 a month. And Peter Guardian says, old leadership will leave. Give them a monthly stipend. Right.
Yeah, and they take it to the casino down the street.
You know what?
I'm sorry.
Speaking to somebody personally.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonelle, what's happening? You said it's the hate that hate produced. Our
Oh,
self-hate
yeah.
is regulated and invested in. If we had self-love, we would build up our communities and make them heaven on earth. We focus on our own elevation instead of, instead of running from our own people while being prey to our own degradation. We don't destroy what we love. Our war is against our own ignorance. Our self-love is for the win-win. No, absolutely. I mean,
God, a lot of knowledge.
we do have to start educating ourselves and start. I mean, to Sydney's analogy of, you know, them building houses around them. It's like most people probably aren't even aware of that.
Yeah.
That's going on. You know, but once you educate yourself and take a step back, you're like, whoa.
But they're aware about the NBA Finals and LeBron James. They're aware about the Atlanta Housewives, Love and Hip Hop.
Can't be worried
Cardi
about that
B.
kind of stuff.
You know, let me ask you this real quick. Since we're talking about black people, we are responsible for each other. Recently in the news, there was a picture that you showed me where a young lady was headed to the prom. Dee, you're a mom yourself. What did you take out of that picture? We're going to talk about being responsible because this is what I say. Everybody comes down on me because I'm always talking about black women, black women, black women. Who the hell else am I supposed to hold responsible?
Hold that question because that's going to fit into something else that I have. Hey, Richard, what's happening? Says Costco is a few cents cheaper. Like, yes, but then you got to get the Costco card.
Right, and be a member.
I found some gas that's like $14. I mean,
$14.
14 cents cheaper. I ain't telling nobody.
Okay.
No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, all right.
And Allie says, yes, please stop applying old ways to new ways. Quit giving these kids ghetto names that they can't spell or pronounce.
Thank you.
Wait, hold up. I'm going to defend that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, admittedly, some of the names are like, whoa. But so what? So what we give our kids unique names.
But here's the problem, though. That those unique names are being used to identify that's a black person.
That's fine.
In the application.
You know what I'm going to tell you why that's fine? You can name your child Aquanetta, Bukwikwi, or whatever. It's because if black people were operating with group economics and we had
it wouldn't have
own,
mattered, right?
We wouldn't have to say, well, you know, I named you Boom Kwikwi, but let's call you Keisha for short.
Right.
So, you know, put that on your job application so that can be friendly to white people.
Sure.
We that wouldn't matter if we were in control of our own stuff.
I hate you. Stop dropping this knowledge.
I'm just saying.
Stop dropping the knowledge.
Because we're not in control.
We want to be
of
entertained.
No, we're not entertaining. Am I entertaining y'all? Hey. But no, I mean, I don't have a problem with you naming your child something unique. Right. The problem that I do have is that, to Donovan's point, because you have named them something unique and you don't practice group economics, you do set that child up for failure when they go off, let's say graduate college or go try to get a job because, like you said, they identify, oh no, she must be ghetto.
Yeah, that must be a black person.
Oh, that's a black person. So yeah, until we get our own, that's going to be an issue.
Gotcha.
And he says, and they change the laws to get you out. I.e., I go to see you, I get arrested. Do you have 30 days to get out too? Yeah. Wow. And then Elmalika says, we need more sisters, people like you in our communities. You know what?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I'm going to say this right now. I appreciate that. And I just like to always tell this to people. I wasn't always where I am as far as knowledge. I'm always seeking knowledge. But that's why I do this. If it was just one person on here,
absolutely,
I would do it because we are helping each other. I learn from you guys all the time. So I thank you. And that is my goal, is to, you know, help everybody else start thinking along these lines. I don't do it for the fame. Right.
Shantae says, there is a huge difference between ethnic names and hood names. We need to give our children proud names, not after cars, liquor, or some mess you throw together because it's cute.
Well, I mean, I guess I just never really have a dog in the fight as to what people call their own kids. You can call your child whatever you want. But again, we know why we do that. Okay, we know why we name ourselves or our kids different things like Buick, or maybe not Buick, but
Mercedes.
Lexus. We know why we do that because we have no knowledge of self or where we came from. And so if we did, we would be naming ourselves Afrocentric names and things like that.
I just think it's ironic that you got these fools running around with tattoos of Nike and all these things that people ain't paying them.
No knowledge of self. We try to build an identity on things that already have a high profile in hopes of making us high profile instead of getting proper knowledge of self.
And I hate these women that, they name their children these great names. Don't get me wrong. And I'm with Shantae with that, where they name them these great names and the kids ain't shit.
Wow.
I hate that.
Well, what they supposed to name them?
Well, what I'm saying, if you're going to name a kid El Malik or, whatever, and you're letting the kid go out there and not holding him accountable when he's out there smoking weed or he's robbing people, whatever, there's a whole bunch of people in prison that have these great names.
But maybe that child will overcome its circumstances and go on to be great things on its own.
Very true, but the majority of them don't do that. They grew up, they ain't shit. Look, there was a movie that came out 27 years ago. He ain't shit, 'cause I ain't shit.
My apologies, y'all. Okay. Hey, James.
You gotta believe it doesn't come free. You gotta be.
Hand me your bottle. Okay? This is what I think there's a little Henny in there or something, or some liquid crack or something. James, he says DC is the best example. We called it Chocolate City back in the day.
Oh, Baltimore, yes.
And Dr. Claude Anderson talks about Chocolate City a lot, saying that it was the blackest place on earth, but now it's starting to turn into Carmel City.
That's right. They're moving us out of here.
To Toffee or whatever, Mocha, I don't know, city.
Yeah.
And Richard says, I'm late. Are you discussing universal basic income? I'm not. Richard has invited me on his podcast for this Thursday, so perhaps we can discuss universal basic income then.
Okay, I'll be good. And
then you also say DC is milk chocolate now. So
yeah.
And then El Malika says, we love you. I love you too. And Al says, if a man dumps a girl that lives in the hood with a ghetto booty, that is leaving her behind, no pun intended. Get out of here with all of that.
Yes. Write this down in a book. We need to put this stuff in a book.
He's now a paid writer. Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't tell me that.
He's a paid writer.
On.
Yes.
Right on.
And I can tell you more about it later. Right. And Sydney says, no, they act dumb and shit. I am over here looking at a gift with my face for my facial expressions. So are they being the people who are gentrifying the neighborhood? Like, who, me? Am I doing that?
Yes.
We're just coming over here to see if you guys can use a Starbucks.
Right. And what's killing me is a lot of those people that are gentrifying the neighborhood are Asian. They're everything but us.
Well, because they got the resources to do that. I mean, you got the money. Hell,
but I'm just saying,
I got the money.
I'm outraged, that's happening, and we have $1.3 trillion.
We got to start educating ourselves. It's our responsibility to do that.
Yes.
And El Malik, you say, who's right? Are you saying Donovan's right? And then Sydney says, I'm teaching the Mini Mogul Club with unique names to create their own economy. My youngest biz owner is 9 years old. I know that's right. See, we need more sisters like Cynthia.
Right on.
Who are teaching that. And a lot, because 9, some people say, well, that's too young. Let them be a child. Let them know it ain't too young. Because there's other, groups of people who are teaching their kids that from the cradle.
Out the gate.
Okay? And then El Malik, you also say, that's like me naming my little one Newport. Really? Surely you jest. And then Cindy says, if I can't pronounce your name, I'm not dating you. I have to give you a nickname because I think you said I can't pronounce your name. No hood names. Well, I still gonna give y'all some pushback on that. Because listen, my name is Demetra. I can't help that my mama named me that. Can that person help that they was named Aqua Boom Boom? Or as Donovan says, Shaquaqua. Is that her fault? She might be a really great person. Just ask her to teach you how to pronounce it. She might, you never know.
I got an answer to that. I have an answer to that since we're out here helping folks. If you have been named a child,
I see these comments. Go ahead.
if you have been named a ghetto name when you come of age, go to the courts and petition to change your name to a name that you like. How about that?
Again, if we had our own courts and our own stuff, you don't have to petition.
Right.
You can name it, whatever you wanted to. Left shoe if you wanted to. And oh God, Al says orange and green are not for a woman's hair. Shut up, Donovan. Shut your mouth. Okay. Don't you amen this.
I'm not
Don't
gonna.
you say nothing.
I'm gonna be over here. Be good.
Okay.
I'll be good.
And Cindy says, hold it. I thought your state can smoke legally. Yeah. California, unless they change the law.
Yes, you can still smoke. You can smoke legally, which is no different than smoking or taking prescription medicine. You can't drive in your car with it. You can't walk out in the street with it. You got to do it behind. You still got to do it behind closed doors.
I think they should really spread that memo, because the other day I was walking at the park and I took a toke that I didn't mean to take. I mean, these people out there smoking marijuana, it was just whoosh. I'm like, am I high? Because I've never been high. So I didn't know if I was high or not.
Yeah, but, to me, they wrote that rule to lock up more Black and Hispanic people who are going to be smoking the stuff anyway.
You can't break the rules if you don't know them.
Right, exactly.
You know?
So.
Hey, Ruben, he says, when you own your own business, it doesn't matter what your name is. You better tell them.
There it is.
That's right.
There it is.
It don't matter what your name is. It don't matter how you wear your hair. Like, I know, I've worked in corporate America before, and I wore my hair natural, and I assimilated, y'all. Yes, I did. I'm not proud.
You got to get in and infiltrate.
I assimilated. This is back in the day, though.
Yeah, but you got to infiltrate. Doesn't matter.
I put some permanent on my do to fit in. I'm not proud of that. I'm just being honest.
Now, was that a mental thing? Like, where you just felt...
because I needed a job.
Okay,
I needed to pay some bills.
Right, okay. and unfortunately, a lot of us are in a situation where you have to do that.
Yeah,
and
I didn't want to, but it did.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I wouldn't do it now, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's a legitimate thing to do when you got to survive.
Yeah, but again, if one of my brothers and my sisters, or I have my own business, they'd be like, "Girl, you can come in here with dreads all the way down the street if you want to. Just get the job done." Big ups and all of that. And Emily says, "Hey, that's my name, LOL." But I get his point. What name did you say that? I don't remember. He said that was because you said El Malik. I'm so behind in the comments.
Yeah.
Let me catch up, y'all. And
it's the art of code switching, Shantae.
Oh, okay. And then Jonelle says, we groom our children for the distraction in life instead of the production, the business mind, the elevation of life. We don't give our children the Black dream, independent of the American dream. And let's see. And we give our children the sports, the rap, but not the thought to be the pilot, the scientist, etc. So the great name on the child is the block. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I'm giving my daughter, which her name is a mixture of me and her dad's, I don't know how great that is.
Wait, Deanna Kane?
Deanna Kane? No, not Deanna Kane.
No, Kane.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, Big Daddy Kane. Yeah. Biz Markie.
Yeah.
That looks like Biz Markie now. Okay, thank God he doesn't watch the show. He went from Big Daddy Kane to Biz Markie, like literally.
At least he stayed in the Juice Crew.
I don't claim them. I'm just playing. But no, absolutely. If we're going to give our children those type of names, we should groom them for greatness.
Right.
Even if your child's name is Sally, we should groom them for greatness. Just plain and simple, And yeah, there's nothing like having a name like Nefertiti. And you hear, welcome to the stage, Nefertiti. And she's clicking her stripper heels up and down the pole.
Yeah, I have friends, that she named her son Zaire or something. And, Zaire's a great nation, in Africa.
Is he a great child?
I don't know.
Okay, well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Yeah.
And Sydney says, now Carmel City is turning white.
Oh,
DC
man.
is about to become Harlem. Yes, and I'm still upset about that.
Yeah.
How y'all let Harlem go like that?
Yep.
How y'all let that happen?
I mean, when I went to D.C., I used to fly into Andrews Air Force Base. We used to go down to Baltimore. I had never seen that Riverwalk there, and you saw Black people holding hands. And, walking and look like they're in love. See, because in California, love here, we kick you down the stairs, talk about, hey, girl.
I don't want that kind of love.
But that's, that thug loving,
I don't want that.
But over there, it was just beautiful. I mean, big ups to Chocolate City, how it used to be.
Yeah. We can turn it back chocolate, can't we? And then Secret Garden says, good neighborhoods begin with good families unite. Absolutely. Then we know it's not really a lot of, families per se in the neighborhoods, and we need to get back to that. We need to get back to being a family. And used to know, but let me know if there's some comments over there. Used to know, he said Black people would never prosper until they find their true identity. Most teach their kids about slavery, but not about African history. Most will never research, but will believe that they were taught what they were believed through K through 12. Absolutely. Like I said, when your child goes to school, that should be an enhancement, or they should be able to debunk what the teacher is saying by saying, nope, that ain't what I learned. My mama said A, B, C, and D, and the kings and the queens and all that stuff, but you're absolutely right. Black people didn't start at slavery. We were so much more before that.
And we'll be right back.
Parents shouldn't give their kids ghetto names or ghetto